Today we're going to talk about something that impacts every single one of us, but in a way you probably haven't thought about. We're going to see how your own private beliefs about getting older, well, they aren't just thoughts. They're actively, right now, building the person you're going to become. So let me ask you a question you've probably kicked around before. When does old age actually begin? Is there a number? Is it 65, 75? But what if I told you that's the wrong question? That the real question is how your answer, whatever it is, has been quietly shaping your health, your choices, and your life since you were a kid. Yeah, that's what we're digging into. All right, so the key idea we're going to keep coming back to is what researchers call views on aging, or just VOA for short. And this isn't just one simple opinion. It's a whole bundle of things. Your beliefs about older people in general, your feelings about the process of aging itself, and, this is the big one, how you see your own story of getting older. Remember that term, VOA, because we're about to see just how incredibly powerful it is. Okay, let's jump into our first section. Here's the absolute heart of the matter. These views on aging are not just passive thoughts sitting in your head. Nope. They actually work like powerful, self-fulfilling prophecies. What you believe about getting older can directly impact your health, your happiness, and, as some wild research shows, even how long you live. So how does this actually work? Well, think of it like this. Your views on aging are part of a giant feedback loop. They're a product of your life so far, but they're also a driver of your future. Your experiences shape your beliefs, right? But then those beliefs turn around and guide your actions, which then create new experiences that, you guessed it, reinforce those original beliefs. And this can spin into a vicious cycle of decline, or, and this is the hopeful part, a virtuous one of growth. So that brings us to our next big idea. It's this notion that you are literally building a blueprint for your future older self. But this isn't a project that starts when you hit 60. It's something that's being put together, piece by piece, brick by brick, your entire life. So where do all the pieces of this blueprint come from? Well, they come from everywhere, all across our lives. When you're a kid, you absorb them from movies, from cultural stories, from your own grandparents. Then, as a young adult, you're hit with things like workplace stereotypes. In midlife, it gets really personal. You start noticing your own health changes or seeing your parents age. And then finally, in your own later years, your lived experience becomes the main source. It really is a lifelong project.
Now, scientists have been trying to explain this for a while. You've got theories like stereotype embodiment or terror management, and they were all helpful. They each gave us a piece of the puzzle. But as you can see, they were kind of limited. They tended to focus only on what happens in the second half of life. And that's why this new, full lifespan way of looking at it is such a game changer. It finally connects all the dots.
Okay, so if these views are so critical, the solution must be simple, right? Just think positive about getting old. Problem solved. Well, not so fast. In this next section, we're going to see why that's way too simple. The reality of how these beliefs work is way more complex, and honestly, a lot more fascinating. This quote right here is the key. It sounds a little academic, but let's just break it down. Multidimensional just means you can have different views for different parts of your life, like your health versus your social life. Multidirectional means you can see aging as a mix of both gains, like becoming wiser, and losses, like not running as fast. And multifunctional, this is the really wild one, means that the exact same belief can be both helpful and harmful. So it's really easy to get stuck in this simple black and white view, that aging is either a good thing or a bad thing. But the complex view is so much closer to the truth. Aging is about gains and losses, often at the same time. And a single belief isn't just positive or negative. It can be both. It can help you in one situation and hurt you in another. Let me show you a perfect, mind-bending example of this. Okay, so check this out. A study looked at a group of people who held a very specific belief that your health is just naturally supposed to decline as you get older. Now, you'd think, okay, that's just a negative belief, plain and simple, but what happened next was incredible. The results were a total paradox. In the short term, right after a major health scare, that belief was actually helpful. It worked like an emotional cushion. People with that belief felt less stressed out, kind of like, well, this is just part of getting older. It's to be expected. But, and here's the twist, 2.5 years down the road, that very same belief was harmful. Those same people had more physical problems, probably because the belief sapped their motivation to really push through recovery. Isn't that wild? The same belief was both a protector and a saboteur.
So that brings us to our last, and I think most important section. After learning all of this, that our beliefs are complex, that they're built over a lifetime, what do we do with it? Where's the hope? How do we actually take control of this story?
And here it is. This is the big, empowering takeaway from all of this. Your views are not carved in stone. They're not fixed. And simply by understanding them, by seeing where they came from and how they're working, you're taking the first, most powerful step to changing them. You stop being just a passive character in a script written by your culture and your past. You actually get to pick up the pen. You become the author of your own future. So I'll leave you with this one last thought to carry with you. The person you're going to be in 10, 20, even 50 years, that person is being shaped by the ideas you hold in your head today. So knowing that, knowing you have the power to look at that internal blueprint and maybe even change it, how will you choose to see the person you are becoming?